Welcome to our podcast show where we explore vocabulary with fun examples.
Welcome, everyone, to our very special podcast episode designed especially for language lovers.
Today, we will discuss the words burst out laughing, cheer, deaf, background noise, irritating, in tears, catch a cold, whisper, overhear, sigh, and snore. Let's begin our adventure into burst out laughing, as an expression that means to suddenly start laughing, often loudly.
In everyday life, someone might burst out laughing when hearing an unexpected joke or surprising statement.
Imagine you are at a party and a friend tells a wildly absurd story that makes you burst out laughing without warning.
This reaction is spontaneous and genuine, and it often brightens the mood of an entire room.
Now let's consider cheer, which means to shout in support of someone or something.
A crowd might cheer for their favorite team during a thrilling sports game.
When a performer takes the stage with amazing energy, the audience will cheer in unison to show their admiration.
This word is the opposite of boo, which is used to express disapproval in similar contexts.
Next, we delve into the word deaf, which describes someone who is unable to hear.
The term deaf is often used in a clinical sense, but it is also embraced by communities that express their own culture and language.
For example, a person who is deaf might use sign language as their primary means of communication.
The understanding of deaf culture emphasizes the importance of accessibility and inclusive communication practices.
Moving on to background noise, this phrase refers to unwanted sounds that are not the focus of attention.
When you are trying to concentrate on a conversation, background noise from a busy street or a humming appliance can be distracting.
For instance, during a phone call, you might struggle to hear if there is constant background noise in your surroundings.
Being aware of background noise is crucial, especially during important discussions or when recording audio.
Now, let's explore the adjective irritating, which means something that is annoying or makes you angry.
A dripping faucet can be irritating when it disrupts your peace and quiet at home.
In the workplace, repetitive sounds or a coworker's habits may become irritating if they prevent you from concentrating.
Recognizing what is irritating to you can help in finding solutions to reduce such disturbances.
Our next word is in tears, a phrase meaning to be crying.
When someone is in tears, it usually indicates that they are feeling a deep emotional response, whether from joy, sorrow, or frustration.
Imagine reading a heartwarming letter that moves you so much that you end up in tears.
Being in tears shows that emotions are at their peak and often reflects personal impact or empathy towards a situation.
The phrase catch a cold is used to describe becoming ill with a mild viral infection.
When you catch a cold, you might experience symptoms like a runny nose, sneezing, and a sore throat.
It is common to catch a cold during the winter months when viruses spread more easily.
Preventative measures such as washing your hands frequently can help you avoid the chance to catch a cold.
We now turn to whisper, meaning to speak very quietly so that others cannot hear clearly.
When someone whispers, they lower their voice to share a secret or to speak discreetly.
During an important confidential conversation, a person may whisper to ensure that no one else in the room is disturbed.
The act to whisper often conveys intimacy or the need for privacy in communication.
Next up is overhear, which means to accidentally hear someone else's conversation without their intention.
You might overhear interesting remarks if you happen to be near a private conversation in a crowded room.
When you overhear a conversation in a cafe, it is usually by chance and often provides unexpected insights.
Being cautious not to overhear sensitive topics is important in respecting other people's privacy.
Let's now discuss sigh, an action where you let out a long, deep breath, often due to tiredness, sadness, or disappointment.
Many times you might sigh after a long day at work or upon receiving challenging news.
When you sigh, it can be an unconscious way of releasing built-up stress or emotion.
Understanding when and why you sigh can sometimes offer hints about your current state of mind.
Our final word for today is snore, which describes the act of breathing noisily during sleep.
A person who snores might create disturbances for a sleeping partner, causing mutual discomfort.
Sleep studies often focus on individuals who snore a lot to diagnose potential sleep disorders such as sleep apnea.
Learning about why someone snores can lead to better solutions for achieving a sound and restful night's sleep.
In this podcast, we have explored each vocabulary word, shared real-life examples, and offered detailed explanations to help you understand them better.
Our discussion covered not only definitions but also scenarios in which you might encounter or use these expressions in everyday conversation.
Now, let's dive deeper into burst out laughing with additional examples that show its spontaneous nature.
Picture a classroom where a funny comment makes an entire group burst out laughing, and the energy is contagious.
Friends gathered for a reunion might burst out laughing after reminiscing about old, humorous memories.
The simplicity of this reaction underlines the universality of humor, which can make people burst out laughing regardless of their background.
Expanding on cheer, consider how the word unites people through shared celebration and encouragement.
At a community event, people can cheer for local achievements and come together as a supportive group.
Whether it is a sports competition or a public celebration, the power to cheer creates a palpable sense of collective joy.
Simple acts of cheer remind us that our voices, raised together, can be incredibly uplifting during both triumphs and challenges.
With deaf, it's important to recognize the strength and resilience found in diverse ways of communication.
The deaf community has a rich cultural history that leverages sign language as an art form and means of genuine expression.
Many educators work tirelessly to ensure that individuals who are deaf receive tailored learning opportunities that embrace their unique perspectives.
Celebrating the deaf experience means acknowledging that hearing is not the sole pathway to connection and understanding.
Regarding background noise, we want to consider how even subtle sounds can contribute to our overall sensory experience.
In a recording studio, engineers work hard to minimize background noise in order to capture the clearest possible sound.
In busy urban settings, background noise can convey the vibrant life of a city, even if it sometimes distracts from conversations.
Learning to filter out background noise can lead to better focus and mindfulness in both work and leisure activities.
When something is irritating, the feeling it invokes might not be dramatic, but still impacts our day-to-day comfort.
An incessantly irritating sound or a repetitive habit can chip away at one's patience over time.
Recognizing what is irritating in our environment helps us to take small steps toward creating a more pleasant space.
Addressing what feels irritating can also lead to improved communication as people share their experiences and seek mutual understanding.
The phrase "in tears" evokes a vivid image of deep emotion, whether from overwhelming joy or sorrow.
Sometimes a moving piece of music or a heartfelt story leaves us in tears as our emotions overflow.
When we see someone in tears, it often signals a profound connection to the situation at hand.
Being in tears reminds us that vulnerability and emotional honesty are important parts of the human experience.
To catch a cold is something most of us have experienced, especially during changeable weather conditions.
Health experts often remind us that you can catch a cold more easily during rapid weather transitions.
Simple actions like sharing a tissue or avoiding close contact when symptoms are present can help prevent others from catching a cold.
The phrase "catch a cold" has become a common idiom that signifies minor illness, even as more serious infections exist.
The soft act to whisper offers a mode of communication that is intimate and controlled.
In quiet libraries or during secret conversations, people often whisper to maintain discretion.
When you whisper, the tone of your voice invites others to lean closer and listen with care.
Using a whisper can transform a simple exchange into a moment of shared secrecy and trust.
Sometimes we unexpectedly overhear conversations that are meant to be private, which can lead to surprising revelations.
To overhear something is often accidental, yet it might leave a lasting impression on the listener.
The idea of overhearing underscores the notion that sometimes the most genuine insights are obtained unintentionally.
If you overhear something that seems important, it may be wise to reflect on how knowledge is shared and received.
When you sigh, it can serve as a silent indicator of inner feelings that words alone might not express.
A gentle sigh after a long day can be both a physical release and an emotional punctuation to one's thoughts.
The act of sighing connects us to the universal human experience of coping with stress and finding moments of calm.
Whether you sigh in relief or in disappointment, the simple sound conveys volumes about your inner state.
Finally, let us revisit snore from various angles to understand its impact on sleep and relationships.
When someone snores, it can sometimes become a humorous yet challenging topic among bed partners.
Research into why people snore has led to better sleep aids and treatments that aim to provide everyone with a peaceful night's rest.
The phenomenon of snore not only highlights differences in sleep patterns, but also the importance of addressing health issues compassionately.
As we near the end of our detailed discussion, allow us to summarize the insights we have shared about each vocabulary term.
Our journey today took us through the spontaneous nature of burst-out laughing and the unifying power of cheer.
We recognize the unique experiences of those who are deaf and learn to appreciate quiet spaces free of background noise.
Additionally, we explored how subtle annoyances can be irritating and moments of deep emotion can leave us in tears.
We also unpacked the common experience to catch a cold and the intimate act to whisper secrets softly.
There were accidental moments when we overhear conversations, reflective pauses marked by a sigh, and even the natural sounds when someone snores during sleep.
Each term has its own vivid imagery and everyday relevance that enrich our language and our lives.
Our exploration today is intended to help both new and seasoned language enthusiasts appreciate the nuances of these expressions.
Now, let us extend our discussion with a series of practical scenarios, detailed examples, and relatable narratives that further illuminate these expressions in context.
In a bustling city park, imagine a group of friends sharing a humorous anecdote that makes them burst out laughing all at once.
The unexpected hilarity in that moment often ripples into the atmosphere, causing nearby picnickers to smile or even cheer in support of the contagious joy.
This simple scene encapsulates how the spontaneous reaction to humor can bring people together, making it a delightful moment to burst out laughing and cheer.
Consider next a community hall where a veteran performer receives an ovation. The crowd's unified cheer can be felt like a wave of supportive energy.
The coordinated effort to cheer not only shows approval but also instills confidence in the performer on stage.
For someone who is deaf, the applause and visual expression serve as an equally powerful complement to verbal praises in such an event.
Inclusive activities ensure that even those who are deaf enjoy moments of celebration and communal cheer, with full participation.
In a quiet home environment, a persistent background noise from an air conditioner might become a source of mild distraction.
Such ambient sounds, though often overlooked, can sometimes make the difference in concentration during late-night reading or work sessions.
Engineers and audio technicians invest significant energy in reducing unwanted background noise to create environments conducive to focused tasks.
Whether in a studio recording or an office space, minimizing background noise is key to maintaining clarity in communication.
When minor annoyances turn persistent, they can feel truly irritating and disrupt daily life.
A repetitive sound, a malfunctioning device, or even the constant tapping of a keyboard might be described as irritating in its effects.
Recognizing these irritating factors allows us to seek solutions, whether it's through repair, quiet zones, or meditation to regain peace.
Ultimately, dealing with what is irritating is a part of managing the stresses and strains of modern living.
Moments when you are moved to the point of being in tears often mark important turning points in life.
A touching farewell, an unexpected kindness, or even a moment of overwhelming relief can render you in tears.
These instances of being in tears are not just signs of sorrow, but also of deep emotional connection and catharsis.
They remind us of the profound impact life's experiences have on our hearts and minds.
As the seasons change, many people unfortunately catch a cold due to the fluctuating weather and increased exposure to germs.
The phrase catch a cold encompasses a common yet pesky occurrence that many of us have endured at one time or another.
Public health reminders often stress the importance of hygiene and self-care to avoid the risk to catch a cold during seasonal shifts.
This familiar experience serves as a gentle reminder that taking care of our health is paramount, especially in communal spaces.
In intimate conversations or secretive moments, it is customary to whisper so that the dialogue remains private and personal.
The act to whisper transforms words into secrets, shared only with those who are close and trusted.
When you whisper, you create an atmosphere of confidentiality that sometimes heightens the emotional intensity of the discussion.
This soft-spoken approach to communication ensures that the subject remains between the intended parties and is not broadcast to everyone.
Sometimes in busy public settings, you might inadvertently overhear snippets of conversation that were not meant for your ears.
To overhear is to catch unintended fragments of dialogue that can offer surprising insights into people's genuine feelings.
While overhear can lead to interesting discoveries, it also highlights the importance of privacy and respect in interpersonal exchanges.
It is best to remain discreet if you overhear something personal, as respect for confidentiality is paramount in these situations.
When life feels heavy or moments of decision overwhelm you, you might let out a long sigh as a release of tension.
A heartfelt sigh often accompanies introspection, marking the end of one chapter and the quiet beginning of another.
That simple sound can encapsulate relief, resignation, or even the gradual acceptance of change as you sigh.
In its quiet cadence, a sigh speaks volumes about the human capacity to process and eventually move on from life's challenges.
Late at night, in quiet bedrooms or dormitories, the gentle yet persistent sound of someone who snores can be both comical and disruptive.
The act to snore, while asleep, is a natural bodily function that sometimes invites humorous commentary among those sharing a room.
Despite being a source of mild annoyance, understanding why someone snores can lead to improved health outcomes and more restful sleep for everyone involved.
In many cases, addressing the reasons behind a snore not only improves sleep quality, but also strengthens the bond between roommates or partners by fostering empathy and care.
As our podcast journey reaches its conclusion, we invite you to reflect on the rich tapestry of language we have unraveled today.
Every term we discussed, from the spontaneous urge to burst out laughing to the gentle act to whisper, carries with it layers of meaning and cultural significance.
We trust that these examples and explanations have brought clarity to the vocabulary and inspired you to use them confidently in your daily interactions.
Remember that language is a vibrant tool that connects us, and exploring its nuances can be both enlightening and deeply rewarding.
To wrap up, we encourage you to revisit these words periodically and try incorporating them in your conversations, writing, and reflections.
Whether you cheer for a friend, work to minimize background noise, or simply allow yourself to sigh in moments of introspection, every word tells a story.
Our podcast today is not only an exploration of definitions, but also a celebration of the human experience as reflected in our language.
Thank you for listening and joining us on this linguistic adventure that has stretched from hearty laughter to soft, secretive whispers.
As we sign off, we would like to invite you back for our next episode, where we will unravel more words and share additional stories that enrich our understanding.
Stay curious, keep exploring, and let each word inspire you to communicate with passion and precision.
We hope you enjoyed this immersive exploration of vocabulary and that you now feel more equipped to express yourself.
Until next time, keep an ear out for those sounds that make you burst out laughing, the moments when you cheer, and all the beautiful nuances that color our daily lives.
Before we go, let's reflect briefly on our discussion with a few extra examples for context and clarity.
Consider a moment at a family gathering where a small mishap causes everyone to burst out laughing, creating an unforgettable memory.
In another scenario, imagine watching your favorite sports team score a game-winning point and hearing the entire stadium cheer in celebration.
Such spontaneous expressions remind us that language not only describes events, but also captures the emotions that drive us to connect with one another.
For those who are deaf, community events often include visual cues and sign language interpreters, making the experience inclusive and vibrant.
This recognition of the deaf community enriches our cultural diversity and emphasizes the importance of communication in all its forms.
Even in the midst of digital communication, minimizing background noise remains essential for clarity in virtual meetings and online classes.
Technology today strives to reduce unwanted background noise so that every conversation feels as intimate as a face-to-face discussion.
When everyday annoyances become irritating, it is often a sign that we need to reevaluate our environment and find ways to restore calm.
A minor inconvenience that is irritating at first may lead you to develop creative solutions that improve your quality of life.
Moments that leave you in tears, whether from joy or sorrow, demonstrate the depth of your emotional experiences and your capacity for empathy.
Cherishing these moments, even when they are tinged with sadness, can transform your perspective and foster growth.
As you navigate your day, the risk to catch a cold is ever present, especially in crowded places, prompting timely advice on self-care and hygiene.
Simple actions to avoid catching a cold can include staying warm, resting adequately, and maintaining proper personal cleanliness.
In instances where you need to whisper, like during a confidential conversation in a quiet library, the soft tone helps maintain discretion.
This subtle art of whispering demonstrates that sometimes less is indeed more when it comes to effective communication.
If you ever overhear a conversation by accident, remember that such moments are unintentional and provide insights without intrusion.
The occasional experience to overhear something unexpected might even prompt you to reflect on the nature of chance encounters.
And when you feel overwhelmed, a single sigh can serve as a momentary escape to gather your thoughts and embrace the present.
That exhale, a simple sigh, signifies an acknowledgement of reality and the promise of renewal in the next breath.
Lastly, though a snore might be a source of nightly amusement or mild frustration, it is a natural phenomenon that binds us in our shared humanity.
By understanding why people snore, we are reminded that each individual has their own story woven into the fabric of everyday life.
Our detailed exploration today, filled with nuanced examples and vivid scenarios, reinforces the idea that every word has its own power and resonance.
We encourage you to continue exploring language, as every expression you learn contributes to the colorful mosaic of your personal narrative.
As a final note, let this podcast be a testament to how words, whether they make you burst out laughing or cause you to sigh, shape the tapestry of our shared experiences.
Your journey with language is ongoing, and each time you cheer for life's moments or delicately whisper your thoughts, remember that each word is a small miracle of expression.
Thank you for joining us on this extensive exploration of vocabulary and the emotions they convey.
We look forward to welcoming you back in our next episode filled with even more stories, discussions, and the joy of discovery.
This concludes our podcast episode, and we leave you with a final message of warmth, encouragement, and the infinite possibilities of language.
May you always find reasons to burst out laughing, ways to cheer one another on, and moments to reflect with a heartfelt sigh.
Until we meet again, take care and keep celebrating the power of words in every moment of your life.
Thank you for listening and being a part of our community, where every sound from a gentle whisper to a deep snore tells a story. We appreciate your time and hope that our balanced dialogue and numerous examples help you embrace and enjoy the richness of language every day.